best-selling Scandinavian group goes to our own Ace of Base.
Top 100 Ace of Base!
Gemeinsam mit den Landsleute von der Gruppe Ace of Base.
Ace of Base!
Welcome to Ace of Base! Welcome to Ace of Base. Welcome to Sydney, guys.
Avec la carte Ace of Base, c'est une chambre de regazé.
Ace of Base!
Jonas and his very all the time, they were pushing.
He didn't believe in us at all.
We had to make a quick mistake. I think we like each other.
It's a good song, it's a good song. Very good album.
I was never at home. I was always out playing, and then I would come home kind of 10 o'clock in the evening, totally exhausted, just doomed to bed.
I guess I was pretty much a vivid child and curious.
Me and my sister played a lot together, so we were almost always together. First when she started school, when I was alone, sort of.
I grew up in an area very, very close to the Bergen family. We built up these villages in the forests. We did weapons, you know, wood, swords. And I think a lot of kids do that.
Okej, är du med nu? 1, 2, 3, 4. Det var lite väl. I guess I was a bit strange because in school I have a kind of strange hair and I have a long, what do you say, a tail, different colors on, blonde hair and black, totally weird haircuts.
You know, children could be very, very evil when they're young. When I went to school, I went from school, I wasn't allowed to go with the others. I had to go like some 20 meters behind them.
Jenny called me back.
I moved to Denmark when I was 9 and I started to school there. I was a big victim actually of people's aggression. And it made the situation quite tough. You come to school, you have to be prepared for people going to jump on you.
So Jenny's not going to be here, but the answering machines will.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got stronger, and suddenly I got to fight back. And then we had to move back to Sweden.
Exactly.
Okay. Spiff!
How you doing?
What are you doing here?
I'm supposed to play drums, right?
That's right. That's good.
I started with music '82. My father, he bought me a computer because he wanted me to start to program. So I started to do music on the computer.
You're looking good.
Me and Jonas, we went to the same school. He was an Italo disco freak and looked like one.
I started playing in a band called G. Conrad. Very strange name. We played some new romantic covers and some punk. I spend almost every dime on musical things, and I get very much help of my parents. They help me with a loan and so on.
It took at least a year before we started to talk about putting a band together. When we left the synth music behind, we obviously needed someone to sing. So Jonas proposed we used his smaller sisters.
I was a little schoolgirl with long curly hair, And I was going up, dressing up all in black and a lot of red lipstick and just going up on the stage and doing this kind of music. It was not pure me, actually. It was something that we had together. It's just a funny thing, really.
With Techno, we used to rehearse in a garage. They had all the music on tape, and it was running. And I think it was running through the air into the microphone, where both me and Jenny had to sing in the same one.
Vad är det här för kontakt med var?
Ulf was kind of, I didn't know him. I know about him. He was kind of with strange gangs and so on.
And as older we got, as more and more crazy it become, and I become one of the youngest guy in the gang, so I always had to improve myself. And we started to be connected with skinheads. I ended up in this situation that hate took over my sense. I've never been against democracy in my whole life. I've never been against Jewish people in my whole life either. But I figurated in situations where people had swastika. For me, I didn't care. I wasn't. The thing was, I wasn't against it. That was my crime. Suddenly, I was 18, and I started to realize this is not the life I want. Also, behind me, I have my parents really supporting me, trying to, what's wrong here, What can we do? And they did the best they could. They couldn't do it better.
Okej, ska vi se om vi kan sätta det?
He was kind of calming down. He wanted to do more music. And he started playing with a guy in the band. They had a kind of hobby band themselves with harder music.
We had a rehearsal studio together. And we had 2 separate bands, but we worked a little bit between the bands too. So me and Jonas, we become better and better friends. And also, especially when I took the step out from my past.
We could see on him that he was changing clothing style and stuff like that. I think maybe a bit, going back to who he used to be before he was getting like a juvenile delinquent.
Here we're sitting in a very classic studio, Polar Studio. ABBA did some albums here.
Samma som förut är. Ja, men jag gör det här klippet igen då. Jag börjar ju få vana på det.
Here's Douglas.
Hi.
One of the producers. It's we kind of worked together with production of this song. Donny. And maybe we should listen.
The first time I met the guys was in the studio when we were working on the sign. Yeah, the first impression is like they're ordinary, basic guys.
Då kommer vi in på samma ställe där som förut då. Är ni med?
Yeah, when we were working with Ace of Base, it's like Jonas is the captain of the ship. But it's a lot of give and take, and we respect and enjoy.
I mostly do the lyrics and the song melody and some of the chords. Then I always have to work with somebody who is technical skilled. If I'm writing with somebody, I've been writing some songs for Douglas in the summertime outside. And we were sitting in and playing guitars, Before it was more we sat in the studio, blah, blah, blah. Kör du? Nej. Här kommer.
The night everybody thinks I just quit out of the blue was the night the Rolling Stones played in Gothenburg. I was supposed to be on stage that night in Bältespännarparken at the Avenue in Gothenburg. But I changed my mind in the last minute.
So I asked Ulf if he wanted to join us on the stage. And he said, yeah, cool. Because Ulf's not very shy of kind of, here I am.
I took his place. And from that one, we started to work and make music.
Me and Ulf is very different as persons, but that was really something we have in common. He has a lot of energy, and he knows about technical things that I don't do. So I think it was good to work with him because of that reason anyway.
I moved to the studio. I lived there for more than 2 years, 2.5 years. I just rented out my apartment. And the studio was like 20 square meters or something like that, without shower.
Om du sjunger stämman, du sjunger den vanliga ledmelodin. Det är kul, för det är lite så dominant.
Ja, visst.
We were at the same party, me and Ulf, and I think it was that very special night for him that he somehow formed the name. I think he told him, hey, we can be named Ace of Base, and I just, what? Ace of Spades? Oh, Ace of Base?
Jonas and Ulf were all the time, they were pushy to get what they wanted. But at the same time, they told us that, okay, see what happens. I mean, if nothing happens, we just try again.
We went to John before we got a record deal anywhere, before we even sent out the tapes.
I think I had an ad in the paper looking for new bands, and they answered the advertisement. They came to the studio, they played up. Where it'd be very easy for me to say, oh yeah, I thought they were going to be the biggest band in the world. I didn't, but they definitely had something.
The thing was, he was very busy at the moment, and he didn't have the money to go in and cancel everything in the studio to just work with us, because it was a lot of work.
It was a little bit too techno or dance for that time, so we tried to steer them and give advice. You know, these are the 3-4 songs. These are the 3-4 songs that you should be playing to people.
Yeah, they rejected it all the times. Me and Ulf was up in Stockholm.
They thought it was something there, but they didn't have time, or they just liked All That She Wants.
I talked with Jonas about it, and he was quite angry actually. He thought it was very strange that the record companies could sign Dr. Alban, but not him.
Claes Lunding. He said maybe we could record a song, and we did that.
They said that I was going to sing almost everything, and they tried with Jenny, but I got to sing it. I was very, very nervous, and nobody helped me. I was totally left alone. I only could sing. I was no singer, and suddenly I had to be a singer.
Yeah, he liked the song, perhaps, but he didn't know how to release it because he didn't have that label, you know. I said, what's your problem? Just release it. We're talking about a label. If it's a good song, it is a good song.
What you gonna tell your dad? It's like a wheel of fortune. What you gonna tell your
They sent us a demo tape from Sweden to a Danish record company, which in itself was kind of like unheard of at the time. So they sent the demo of Wheel of Fortune.
You're just getting that feeling, you know, that it was big, and I couldn't get it out of my head, you know. It was in there all the time, you know. It began irritating me, actually, you know. I couldn't get it out.
It didn't sound like anything we'd heard up to that point. There was a very novel element of reggae pop done very originally, we thought. A strong emphasis on melody and also on melodic hooks.
Det beror till ligger på ett independentbolag som kallas för Mega Records tillsammans med Colette och det här gänget. Nu är våran singel nu bara släppt i bitar av Norden, men det är tänkt att det ska släppas i övriga Europa också.
Guldplader for jeres første single. 10.000 solgte eksemplarer i Danmark af Wheel of Fortune. Lars Arti. Og en her. Og en her.
Och sen med andra singeln så ska vi nog göra det med en gång. Och det är planerat att det ska släppas i början av juli.
I was working together with Dennis Pop, and he came to pick me up every morning in his car. And when we were driving in the car, we would listen to a lot of demos.
I got a cassette sent to my house saying, please listen to our demos and call us, Ace of Base. I took the tape and I put it in my car stereo and it got stuck. So I kept hearing it. Every time I drove in that car, I kept hearing the same song. It was called Mr. Ace.
Finally, one day he said to me, I think I want to produce this track. And it turned out to be All That She Wants.
We only had a different opinion in one matter, and that was All That She Wants. I came to the studio and I heard it, and it was in major, and reggae in major. I mean, it's only red, red wine that is good. I said to them maybe 10 times that it was the worst stuff I ever heard. Take it out of the computer, kill it. I don't want to hear it anymore. It is lousy, we can't sing, we can't do this. And so finally, they got so annoyed by me, so they changed it.
To be honest, I didn't think that I would have a chance. Maybe 1, 2 singles, and then no more.
Vinnare är Ace of Base.
Ace of Base! Varsågoda, där borta har ni pris för årets nykomlingar.
Det är svårare att slå i Sverige, eller i Göteborg också. Allting gäller. Ja, Sverige är svårt förutom i Stockholm. Allting gäller uppe i Stockholm egentligen. Det här är lite maffia så. Så det känns gott att komma från Göteborg och visa att det finns faktiskt bra musik här också.
The first really promotion we did was in Denmark, and then we continued with a tour in Denmark for a few weeks.
alltså vår första gång vi spelar riktigt i Danmark. Och det är premiär på vår turné till Slagelse. Så det är meget press her.
And I think that's great. We went round some of the small clubs in Denmark. This is before they had their big success. You know, 8 people traveling in a small van, you know, a bad PA system, there's no money, there's no budget, there's no anything.
We got our first gigs. We made the whole thing up ourselves. This is wonderful. I was wearing a red shirt that I had made myself, puffärmar, whatever these big things called with a Snow White had, and had a blue skirt with a little white. Oh, it was so nasty, and it was like a princess, like a very short one. And this was a part of our shows. I was looking like Snow White.
Wheel of Fortune Club Mix har alltså en sån, en utav basstolarna i den här Happy Nation-partiet där. En utav basstolarna bara går igenom.
We had the number 1 and number 2, and we decided that we need an album now.
Jonas maybe had 20-30 melodies he played, and that maybe the chorus there is good and that verse there is good, and we put it together and we made a song of it.
I stressed the band to come up with tracks, and the producers, different producers which was involved.
It was too fast, definitely. We didn't have some of the songs. We didn't have time to mix again or record again. We had to take the demo versions and just finalize them a little bit.
We recorded the album after we did the first 2 songs. We recorded them. Recorded the rest of the album in 3 weeks. So I'm not happy with one of the mixes or production of that record.
Direkt till höger, direkt till höger, direkt till höger. Slänger vi där. Ja, visst. Den som väntar på något gott. Jag vill bara berätta en sak. Förra året gjorde Ace of Base en livespelning. Den gjorde de i Chile. 500 miljoner tv-tittare såg på. I år gör Ace of Base också en livespelning. Och var tror ni de gör den? Här i Borgholm på Öland. Vad säger vi om det? Hur låter Borgholm när Borgholm kokar? Och när Borgholm kokar över. Ace of Base, mina damer och herrar.
Och den här låten är dedikerad till dig, Victoria. Den heter Beautiful Life!
Cecilia, walk in the light, Cecilia. We started in, I guess it was January last year, and we sat home in his place and he was just having the guitar, singing the songs. And he wrote down the lyrics and we were singing and I said, that's not a good key, I want it in that key. And we were talking about the song. But he done it already, of course. Men man får en annan touch. He doesn't right now, so you have to learn by what you hear. Så jag undrar, ska vi ha det? This is a song about a well-known girl who was...
Jag tycker körerna blev bra igår. Jag ska lägga om liden lite mer.
Romeo and... Hur sjunger man?
Juliet.
Most. What I enjoy singing about most is actually, of course, the fact that a lot of bad things is happening, so you have to focus on the good parts.
The first time I heard the band would have been All That She Wants, and I heard that on the radio, and I thought it was a very different, very unique sound, and I really liked it. Arista Records in America introduced me to Mega Records, and they thought it would be a suitable combination for me to come here and work with Ace of Base.
Ta lite ljud på första, den rösten du ska höra.
The cooperation in the machinery here, it's working much better in this album than the last one. The cooperation in between us band members have worked much better than this one. We don't have any sensitive questions. We are very open-minded to each other.
Walk, talk, do it all.
Fan, hur var första med?
There's not a great deal of difference between Jonas and Ulf when it comes down to to a practical working situation. They're both very fussy about what they want, and they're both very meticulous that it be good. And one of the tunes, I Pray, we used a local choir, about 25 kids, which was fantastic. They were really excellent. That's going to be a very big sound on I Pray, especially with the choir. And the electric guitars, I think, are going to be the biggest change, but especially the wah-wah guitar. They're very funky tracks.
Don't wait, don't be late. You don't have a second left to hesitate. Walk, talk, do it all. Nothing you can do will ever break the fall.
Det var den bästa.
I think the material is a little bit more mature this time. The last album was more mature than the first one, and that's probably quite natural. And to work with Charles Fisher have been wonderful.
Trumpet, trombon, trumpet, alla.
Jag förstår. Ja.
Det du spelade nyss precis. Bam, allihop på sista frasen.
I 106.
Då går ner där och upp. Ja, just det. Skriver det spettrakt.
I know the computer, how to work the most basic things in the studio, but it's getting more and more complicated, so I really need good producer, someone, and technical people around me.
There is a sound to the group, and you have to think in that, in that direction. But every song is a new challenge, and you got to find the right environment for the song. So, I mean, it's a little both ways there. We have to, try to do something that fits to the group, but still do something that's right for the song.
Ja, 53.
We didn't start with, do you want to do these songs? Or, so what we did this time was we went to Gothenburg and went home to Jonas, and he was playing songs on the guitar, and that is good. And so we sort of kind of played it, took it really from the low stage.
We had to make it quick in the States, else we wouldn't get a record deal because there was so much import. We were on the charts by just being imported from Europe.
Then everybody said no again. We got a no from everybody over there. And then suddenly Arista Clive Davis came into the picture.
Under the pale moon, for so many years I wondered who you are. How could a person like you bring me joy?
I can't recall exactly what he said, but I remember something like, Cal, I want that record, and or that band,
The first time we flew over to New York, a lot of big cars, and big houses and everything. Like, our tongues were out of the limousine's doors, like, oh gosh, it's huge. And we stopped at Arista and we met Clive Davis.
He wanted more material, and he also wanted us to do a cover. For us, the compromise, we didn't want to do a cover, but it was a compromise for us to make him happy.
And we made 2 songs called Don't Turn Around and Living in Danger for the US version of the first album. When you're doing covers, you always have the original version in the back of your head, and it's always a challenge to, break that.
Don't turn around, 'cause you're gonna see my heart breaking. Don't turn around.
Clive Davis liked the songs. He really liked the songs. I think this is it. Now we have a very good album. Let's go for it.
And the #1 new artist is...
And the award goes to...
And the #1 single of the year is...
Ace of Base.
Ace of Base.
Ace of Base, The Sign.
We'd like to thank the producers, especially Dennis Pott and Douglas Carr, for helping us making this single. And of course, record companies, our parents, the radio for supporting us, and of course our fans to buying the record. Great, thank you.
Gemeint sind ihre Landsleute von der Gruppe Ace of Base.
On a bord le Ace of Base.
Välkommen till Ace of Base.
Next from Sweden, welcome Ace of Base.
Con Ace of Base para todos ustedes.
Ace of Base
But now from Sweden, Ace of Base with a new entry at 7, The Sign.
The whole situation becomes so huge. It took, month to just make a simple decision.
19:00 filming TV special. 7 på morgonen, skojar du med mig eller?
Bang on target, pal.
Ulf, Lynn, Jenny, Jonas, and what do you know?
At that moment, I guess you were in like a tunnel. A lot of things happened all the time. Nothing impressed you very much. I liked the success in Europe, but after that, I guess my interest for everything was lost there.
As an unknown band, and suddenly being popular all over the world and being transported with limos and best hotels, etc. Of course, you, as an artist, you are suddenly in the middle of something completely else of what you're used to.
First album we did promotion for more than 2 years in a row. Because we were home maybe 2 days there, 1 day there, 3 days there, and we were out 10 days, 14 days. It was crazy.
My name is Newman from Hong Kong, from here. I'm from the record company. We sell a lot of Ace of Base records.
You heard that, yeah, you're #1 over there, and your album has sold 8 times platinum in the States, and blah, 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 all the strange, to sell platinum at all in the States is totally wild to each person. At 8 times, you couldn't handle it. On the second album we had no time for preparation and a lot of time in the studio. On the first album we had a lot of time for preparation and no time in the studio. It was totally different.
We didn't have any time between coming back from all the promotion we did for more than 2 years and started to do the new album. So we were a little bit tired of each other. We needed some air.
We did 4 tracks on the second album, and 2 of them was written by the girls, by Lynn and Jenny. So that was the first time we worked very close with them on those 2 songs.
I had really to deliver my things. I had to pick pictures in another way for the album. I had to write things that is going to be printed in the album. Before I didn't have that responsibility. I wanted some old friends who are producers at a very low level. I wanted to give them the chance to be on this record, but things didn't turn out at all as I wanted to, and there was no time to redo it. So it's taught me a lot about how you're supposed to act when you are in position of commanding the ones that you're working with, that you have to command as well.
Their songs meant really a lot to them. Especially the lyrics and the words and stuff. So in that cases, I think we had to be really open-minded and listen to what they wanted to say about it.
To our ears, it was actually a better record, more varied in terms of music. It was perhaps a little bit less commercial than the first one that was sort of simpler, more pop-oriented.
Arista, Polygram, EMI, all the different countries were saying maybe a little bit how they thought the group should be, how they thought the next record should be. I think the band and Mega should have done the same thing as they did. This is how we see the album. This is your finished album.
The album has some really potential hits on it, and I think the singles should be bigger than it was. So I can only blame it on the timing and all the things around it.
Ace of Base, yeah, now they're successful, we have to blame them for something. And they suddenly say that, yeah, but you don't play live. And they say, yeah, we play as live, we can have 4 people. I mean, if we have 20 people, we can play much more live.
I had to defend Ace of Base, like once a day, in front of everybody. Oh, well, it's one of those studio products, it's this, it's that, it's that. And you had this poor criticism of a band.
Okej. Vi är på väg upp till scenen.
Good luck! On the way! Hela lugn! Good luck! Hela lugn! Hela lugn!
Y para cruzar el puente comenzamos con todo lo que ella quiere, porque aquí está Ace of Base.
Come on, let me see your hands!
Den vackraste skyskrapan i hela stan. Ja. Vem kommer från? Nu ska jag sjunga alla Malins sånger där. Det kan inte jag.
Det är faktiskt en klassisk dokumentär. Det är alltså första gången vi uppträder, vi 3 tv-män sång.
I never realized if I pushed Lynn with saying, hey, let's do that. And she said, no, I got the main responsibility for singing, so I can't do it. And I understood the pressure that if she doesn't do it good, the whole group looks like nothing, there's nothing to have,
She didn't even get any time to breathe during the first album. And she got a lot of the responsibility because she was singing most of the songs. And the spotlight was most on her.
Lynn doesn't want to be in the spotlight as much now. She wants Jenny to be that more. I think that's a good move, both as a person and for the performance.
I'm not quitting. That's the point. I want to sing. And Jenny wants to try what I have done, and I want to try what she has done, because
I saw a Jenny I never seen before when she took the step to the front. She was incredibly strong. She did it so well, and I was so impressed.
Hello. Hello. Hey. Hey, welcome. How I prepare myself is I'm doing everyday works, educating myself to know what I want, to go out on a stage and I know what sounds I want, where I want things to be.
Två, jaha, tre, å. Och så H. Ljudlöst H, ja. Och spänn.
I've been very much struggling to get my confidence back in singing, because it was all broken and it was so painful. I mean, now it's not painful, it's more like, well, let's wait till you see what I got.
Tu recherches ton cœur, si tu l'emportes ailleurs.
Je recherche ton cœur, si tu l'emportes ailleurs, même si dans tes danses, notre danse était seule. Yeah, 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 yes. The strong gets more, while the weak ones fade. Don't cry for me today.
Första gången så kommer
Ska du ta det parti kanske bara?
Men jag behöver inte göra de körerna lägger inte
We live in a free world. Carry on smiling. Don't want it. The first time we heard the song was on the acoustic guitar, so it really came into the head like, you know, life is a... It came from a... And I think it started out on the second album. It was a couple of songs we used to get, you know, more instruments than on the first one. So I think it was just, you know, a progress from the second album that, you know, guitars is okay too, you know. I think that people who listen to this album will hear that it's us. So it's no big changes. The new thing is we have some old school Motown, you know, that direction of some of the tracks.
From the world, no catcher in the rye can help you from the sand.
We're waiting for him to tune his guitar, and then we're going to see what it sounds like. And we're waiting for Bjorn to turn up. We're waiting for Ulf to turn up. But that's just the way it goes. There's a lot of milling around.
As smooth as you can.
A lot of waiting. I think we spend 3 months waiting and 2 weeks recording.
One step hesitation, one step into the night. Don't mind the weather.
I think I would have been very nervous if I hadn't done my best. And if people don't like it, it's actually up to them, because I did my best.
Make the most of this love I'm living. Don't go away.
We've been working with more producers, and we've been working in different studios all around the world. And the girls have been much more involved, especially Jenny. It's still for fun, but it's more serious.
Actually, it is our best album that we have done, but I don't know if people will think it's a hit. That's another thing. I think we like each other unusually much. You don't see that a lot. So much love between sisters and brothers.
I guess that is the main kit of the band, what get us to work together, and Ulf has to cope with it. Sometimes he likes it, sometimes he doesn't like it.
We developed in different ways. We have different appreciations of life. They don't really like to be in the media so much, but we are an official band and we are official persons. I like to be there in the spotlight. I like to be on stage. It's the best place to be. I love it.
What people have been seeing from outside is actually some quarrels, maybe. Not quarrels, but disarguments. Not having the same goals with everything. Because you can't have the same goals with such a success. It doesn't work that way.
I believe and I think and I feel we handled it quite well. And I feel all of us are still on the ground with both feet stable on the ground. And we now formed our life around the success we had.
We live in a free world. I whistle down the wind, carry on smiling, and the world will smile with you. Love is a flower, so precious in your hand. Carry on smiling, and the world will smile with you. When every race is run and the day is closing in, I don't care about the world. I'm living for the light. Don't cry for me today. We live in a free world. I whistle down the wind, carry on smiling, and the world will smile with you. Life is a